crochet, you've probably ran into this problem before. How in the world am I supposed to determine how much to charge for my crochet product? In this video, I'm going to share with you my super easy framework of getting base prices for your products so you can confirm that you're making enough for your time. Hey makers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camryn. I run a crochet boutique called Camryn's Cute Creations, but here on YouTube, I love helping fellow crochet business owners like you start making some serious money with your crochet, because if we're crocheting all the time anyways, we might as well be making some money doing it. You know what I'm saying? I post a new video every single Friday all about helping you grow your crochet business, so if that interests you, be sure to subscribe down below so you never miss another video. This framework is meant to get you a base price so that we can make sure you're making enough for your time while crocheting. But I will say there's a ton of other expenses that go into running a business, and this is something that I will touch on in future videos and future courses that I have coming up. Step one is to determine your hourly rate, how much you want to be making per hour while crocheting. Now, I recommend starting with at least minimum wage. If you go below that, you really are underselling the true value of your work. If you want to start with minimum wage, that's totally fine. I think crocheting is so valuable. You have this skill, plus you're running this business that takes a lot of talent, and I think you're worth more than minimum wage. But as a bottom line, you do not want to go under minimum wage in your area. And to help explain my framework, I'll use an example throughout this video. So $16 an hour. Let's just say it's a little bit above minimum wage here. Step two is to time yourself to see how long it actually takes to make that product. A lot of you say, I don't time myself because, you know, I'm over here, I'm making it over there, I'm all over the place, and it's so hard to just sit down and time myself. And I know how hard it is when you're so busy to sit down and time yourself make a product. But let me tell you, it's so important when coming up with your pricing. So make sure you're recording the total time that it takes you to make that product. For our example today, we're talking about a little baby beanie. So say it took me an hour and 20 minutes to actually crochet. Let's just say it took me an additional 10 minutes to add the palms to finish assembling it. Well, that project in total took me an hour and a half to make. Now, step three is to determine the material costs of the item. If it's a crochet or knit item, most likely the biggest expense is going to be the yarn you use. But it's really important that you factor in the other materials you're using, not just yarn. The tags you're using, the pom-poms you're using, polyfill, safety eyes, anything you're using with your projects, make sure you're determining the whole material cost of what is going into that product. Also, if you're getting that product shipped to you, you need to calculate in the shipping costs as well. Just for an example, let's just say this beanie took 50 grams of yarn to use, and I used a skein of yarn that was $8 and had 100 grams in it. Well, I used half of that ball, which means I used $4 of yarn to make my product. Plus, I added 2 pom-poms on there, and those were $1.50 each. So adding all that together, the total material cost of this product is $7. Now it's time to do a little bit of math, but don't worry, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. I'm not the best at math, but this framework is so simple, so let's just walk right through it. So we're gonna take that total time that it took us to make the product, which in our example is an hour and a half, and we want to make sure we're going by hours. In this case, it took us an hour and 30 minutes, which is 1.5 hours. And that's important to have it in hours before you put it into this equation. Now we're going to take that 1.5 hours of production time and multiply it by how much we want to make hourly. In this case, we want to make $16 hourly. So we're going to take that 1.5 hours of production time and multiply it by $16, which is our hourly wage. We got the number $24. Now this is your cost of labor. But in order to make enough for our time, we need to calculate in those material costs that we determined before. So we are going to add the material costs to this $24. So $24 plus the material costs in our example was $7, and that equals $31. Now keep in mind that you want to be charging at least $31. I'm not saying you can't charge more than this, and I'm not really telling you you have to charge this. If you want to charge less, that's up to you. This is your business. But for the people who want to make money doing this, I want you to know that you're at least making your hourly wage. That doesn't mean that you can't be making more. Plus, this isn't considering all of the other costs of doing business. This is the bare minimum of what you want to be charging for that product. Now, if you come up with this number and you're like, oh my gosh, I did your strategy, Camryn, and it's telling me to charge $150 for this beanie. And you might be like, wow, that is way too much. I don't want to charge that. We went over this in last week's video, but typically items $5 to $30 sell the best at markets. Honestly, all the way up until $40, but over that, they get a little bit harder to sell. So if that beanie took you long enough and there was enough materials in there to get to the point where you have to charge at least $150 to make it worth your time, Here's a few things you can do. One is you can cut down on material costs. Maybe you're using really high-end premium wool on it, and you want to cut down on the material costs, so you check out Joann's and get a acrylic or a cotton that's just a lot more affordable. The next thing you can do is you can cut down on your production time by using chunkier yarn and hooks. I talk about this all the time. Quick and easy patterns are best when prepping for a market because they don't take as much time, and your time is money, my friends. If you're running a business, you want to make sure you're getting paid for the time you're putting into it. But at the end of the day, if you've tried cutting material costs and you tried whipping up your pattern faster and it's still just priced too high to sell, that just might be a product you either don't offer on your shop, or maybe you just make a couple of them and see if they sell still. But for the majority of your products, trying to fit into that $5 to $40 range is going to be your sweet spot. So finding more products that you can sell and make what you want to make an hour and can price at those prices are going to be the best options for you to sell at your next craft show. I really hope this framework helps you determine your prices, and if you get to a price where you feel like it's a little too high but you're not sure and you're kind of nervous to sell it for that much, I just want you to keep in mind that not everybody's going to be your ideal customer. Some people are going to think that's way overpriced, but then some people are going to come up to your shop and buy 5 of that item that the other person thought was overpriced, and they're not going to say one thing about it. People who are meant to find your products will find you, and you will sell to the people who appreciate handmade and will pay every penny that it's worth. It's all about sticking to your worth and finding your people in this business. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I always have so much fun with you here on YouTube, and if you want to keep hanging out, I suggest to check out this video next. If you loved this video, I think you're really gonna like this one right here, and I will see you, my friend, in this video right here. Bye!